My name is Scott Delbeato. I'm a deputy sheriff with the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office in northern Florida. It was about 2005, 2006. I was working a night shift, and probably 2:30 in the morning. Not a whole lot going on. I was getting kind of tired and bored. Started driving out on a pretty rural road in the eastern part of the county, and there's not a lot of traffic. There's no houses or businesses, and I came around a curve, and I was probably doing about 25-30 miles an hour because I was just really trying to kill time until something came across the radio, and I saw something out of the corner of my eye off the side of the road in a culvert, and it was had kind of an orangish fur to it. Orangutan comes to mind because that's the color. And I'd seen plenty of bears. Wasn't a bear, but I'm looking at it, and I don't think it registered what it was. And I kind of drove by it and sort of stared at it, kind of in a daze. And then I got about 30 yards past it and stopped and thought, I got to go back and look at that. And I turned around, came back to it, I guess probably about 20 or 30 seconds later, and it wasn't there. And I called into dispatch, and I told them, I said, I'm going to be out with, hell, I don't know what I'm going to be out with, something to that effect. And they called to check on me, and I think I did tell them that I had just seen a Bigfoot, and they after that they kept checking on me about every 5 seconds, and then I was just waiting for them to call me back in to go see the doctor at that point. And so I pulled back up there, and I got out of my car and stepped down into the culvert where it had been. And behind it, opposite the roadside, was a line of reeds about 10 or 15 feet behind, and they were all intact except for one spot, a couple 3 feet wide, that had been trampled down. It looked like something big had just moved through it. And I looked down to where I had seen whatever it was, and there were some feathers. Nothing else. The ground was pretty muddy, but it was the kind of mud that you step into it and then it forms back up flat. It wasn't leaving any prints or anything like that. What got me was when I turned while I'm standing in that culvert where it was, and it had been down on, like hunched down in a crouch. When I drove by the first time, while it was crouched down, and I was in a Crown Victoria, and as I looked at it, it was eye level with me. Its head was about eye level with me as I drove by. Now I'm standing in the culvert where it was, and I turned around to look back at my car, and I was looking up at my car. So I'm 5'10", and this thing was higher than I was when it was crouched down. So it had to be, 8 feet plus. And thinking about it after that, it kind of scared the hell out of me. I don't know what I saw other than, it had to be skunk ape.